Hey there, party people. This is your girl, TC Mason, and you're live for another episode of Beautiful Weirdo Life, learning instruction from everyday people, having everyday experiences. And this is your girl, TC Mason. I'm so excited for another episode. You know, my specialty is mental health, fitness, and everything happy. And we're just here to ignite, inspire, and just encourage people to be who they are and to just live those dreams. Tonight we have a very special guest. I'm so excited. I have been, I patronized her food, which is so delicious. Her food. She's an awesome mom, a mompreneur. She has darling daughter and son, and just really encourages people through her Facebook feed. She's a TV personality. She's a chef. That's how I see her. A chef. She's a hostess. I mean, interior decorating. I mean, I probably could go on and on and on and on, and I'm pretty sure I would still miss something. But without further ado, I'm going to bring on Raquel Devine, and I can't wait for us to talk. Are you ready? Let's get this show on the road. Hello, Raquel.
Hello, Takia.
Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything
No,
in that introduction? I'm pretty
you
sure.
were generous. Thank you.
I forgot awesome wife. How did I forget that one?
I forgot. I didn't even hear that one.
Yeah, so we're going to have a good time tonight. If you guys have tuned into any of the episodes of the Beautiful Weirdo Life, then you know that we've talked about so many issues. We've talked about friendships, energy, we've talked about sex, we've talked about fatherhood, just everything. And this is your living room, so feel comfortable to chime in and just act like we're having a conversation. If you have any questions, any comments, any thumbs up, feel free to do it in the comments because we're going to keep this party going. So we're going to talk about perfection. And do we need to start, or actually, do we need to know all of the steps before we actually start something? So I brought Raquel on because she has a wonderful, awesome story. And I know a lot of people know her for being on, what is the morning show? I can't think of it right now.
Good morning, Washington.
Good morning, Washington, because I keep wanting to say good morning, America. That's what I really want to say.
That's next. That's next.
Yes. She's been on Good Morning Washington. I'm doing cooking demos and giving her tidbits. And I know a lot of people know her for her cookbook or her cooking parties, or just being an awesome, stylish wife. And you don't know who's the daughter between her children because she's just, got that melanin going on. But I wanted her to share her story because a lot of times people see the result now and they don't know the progress or the journey that you've come through. So tell us a little bit about yourself and just share your journey of how you got from point A to point B.
Wow. Well, as you have said, I'm a wife, I'm a mom. I also have some business endeavors that I'm into.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, I started out initially, my husband and I working our 9 to 5s like everybody else, raising our family.
Mm-hmm.
And we became really clear about a call of God that was on his life concerning music ministry.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty early on in our marriage. So from there, we started focusing our energy and our attention on that call.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, my role in that was to help and support that any way that I could,
Mm-hmm.
because when he's successful, I'm successful.
Well,
And our family is successful.
Mm-hmm.
So since that is something we had clarity on, that's what we put our energy and our focus behind. We knew pretty early on that if he was going to be, or if we were both going to be gone and traveling, that we probably needed to create some stability for our family in any way possible. So neither of us thought that it would be really healthy if we're gone all the time. Like somebody has to hold it down.
Right.
Somebody has to take care of home. Somebody needs to give kids a stable life.
Right.
So our kids were fairly young at the time. And I knew that I wanted to come home and be there for them. I didn't want them doing before care and after care, and then their
Hmm.
parents are gone on the weekend and
Right.
just all that craziness. Like, I wanted to be there through the day. So that was one of the first steps we decided to do. And it's like, also while I'm home, perhaps I can help manage you, um, and really get some things going so that you can also leave your job in the future.
So what does your husband do?
Oh, he is. Thank you. He is he's a saxophonist.
Hmm.
He is in full-time music ministry.
Okay.
We are not on a church staff. Sometimes when people hear full-time music ministry, they think that we are on a church staff or
Right.
that we receive a salary. We do not.
Okay.
We are not on a staff. So we are, completely itinerant.
So what I hear you saying is that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but both of you guys have full-time jobs, and you guys decided when you heard from God that, okay, you're going to support your husband. So what did that mean for you? Was there some type of shakeup? Like, what did that look like? What did that transition look like?
So for me, the transition looked like, prior to leaving my job, we had just, we would come home from work, feed our kids, bathe our kids, put them in bed. And this is why we still worked. We decided that instead of sleeping or watching TV, we're going to see what we can do,
Mm-hmm.
what we can create, what we can put our energy towards
Mm-hmm.
to get out of this obscure place.
Okay.
So that we did that. So then we knew, hey, I like to transition off of my job. So we calculated side income for him because he was still playing and
Right.
everything. And once his income got to the place where it matched my income at my job,
Mm-hmm.
then I came home.
Well,
So we just worked it like that. So then I came home, but I had no idea how to manage, how to book. I really didn't know what I was doing.
no, but hold up. Because there's some nuggets that you just said. There are a lot of people who want to quit their jobs. And more
Yes,
power to you to pursue
more power.
your dream and your vision. But I think you said something that you guys created a plan. Not only was it a plan, it wasn't a plan like just bubbles and cotton candy, but it was actually a logical plan. Like, okay, once it gets to this amount. So it was, I love that because not only, because some people just are faith, but they forget the actionable part that,
Yes,
okay, I'm believing and this is what I'm doing as
yes,
well. So you guys
yes,
had that part like, okay, once the salary gets to this part, then I'm coming off. Some of y'all
yes.
quitting your job too soon. But go
Come
ahead.
on.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, and even with that calculation, like, it was still hard because when you switch from getting a paycheck every 2 weeks
Yes.
to getting money variably,
Mm-hmm.
there's an adjustment that you have
Mm-hmm.
to make. But we knew that he had the capability
Right.
of at least making what I was making on my 9 to 5.
Go ahead, Merlot. Go ahead. Okay. And so you quit your job. Tell us about
Yes, I quit my job. I was working at our church that we attended. I was on the staff.
it.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
very large church in Arkansas,
Mm-hmm.
Full Council Metro. Get them a shout out. But I was on the staff there already. So I
Mm-hmm.
was already working in ministry, and that was really preparing me, as well. Like, I got a lot of insight on artists that we brought in and
Okay.
how all that worked, and just things to help me parlay there. So once I came off my job, I mean, it was just a matter of, you know, trying to make connections and just doing whatever I could to
Mm-hmm.
create a buzz around him or to, connect us with the right people.
So you didn't know how to do any of this.
No.
So what were you thinking or feeling? Because I feel like a lot of people before they make movements, they have to know A through Z. And because they may not know the H part, they don't do anything.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know anything that I've done where I've seen how it's all going to work out from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So once I started trying to connect with people, it was very frustrating
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people just either didn't have the time to help or didn't want to help or whatever the case may be. But I was kind of on my own quite a bit. And I had, a person or two would just tell me a nugget or
Right.
something, but like nobody just sat me down. It was just like, here, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do. And it actually really made me hungry. And I'm pretty like self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to tell me everything. Like, I can figure it out. I'm going to find it out. I'm going to
Right.
dig until I can find it out. So we just continue to work at it. We just try different things. Oh, no, that's not us. Okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
more us. All right, we more like this type of thing. And then you also just have to have divine breaks along the way. I mean, there are things that only God can do for you, that only
Right.
God, connections he can make, only doors that he can open,
Mm-hmm.
that just help you progress along the path. So it's just a lot of series of things like that that happen. But just when you're in the flow of that, things can come to you
Mm-hmm.
that may not necessarily come to you if you're obligated on your 9 to 5.
Right. Like you having the power over your own schedule
Yes.
and creating, I guess, creating your job and the how you would like it to be. Somebody
Yeah.
told me when we were having a conversation before about code switching on certain jobs, you gotta people feel like they have to change who they are, or maybe if they have locks, they can't have locks because of a certain job or what have you. And the
Right.
question was, well, how do you get out of that? How do you not have to fall under that? And I'm like, you own your own.
Yeah.
I'm like, you become your own boss,
Yes.
and it's a lot of freedom in that.
Yes.
What would you say to people who feel like they can't move unless they know all the steps?
Uh, you know, unfortunately, you
Mm-hmm.
will not make any progress if you stay stuck. you know if you
Mm-hmm.
stay stuck in that place of needing to know everything before you move,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be frustrated
Mm-hmm.
because you're not going to get far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So can you tell me of one situation where you felt like, I don't know why I'm doing this. This is challenging, and how you, which one, right?
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
And how you actually, instead of falling backward, that you fell forward.
Man, there were so many situations. There were so many situations, but in each of them I can tell you that just having a promise from God, or you have to have something to hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have something that says there's more ahead of you than what's behind you. Keep walking, keep
Mm-hmm.
moving. And really just having that connection with God really kept me encouraged. Also, just the power of agreement with my husband and I. Like, we have always, always, always worked together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've always been really focused, and it's just really, really been a blessing, not to have to be competing against each other,
Right.
or at odds concerning what we're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that also helped as
Mm-hmm.
well.
So you would say having a belief system, some type of core value.
Yes.
Um, would you say that helped you not to internalize some of the challenges? Because like sometimes
Absolutely.
people have challenges, and instead of saying, this is that situation, they say, well, something's wrong with me. I knew this was going to happen. They internalize it as something inside, instead of looking at the situation like, this is a situation, it didn't work out. Well,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's absolutely a walk of faith.
Mm.
And one of the things that we used to do is we would meet every morning and just listen to something that built our faith.
Wow.
Just read something that built our faith, because we realized like every path has a particular diet that it takes for you to be successful on that path. So we already knew, for my husband to be successful in full-time music ministry. He did not have a record deal.
Right.
We, were just kind of on our own as far as that went. And so we knew, like, we have to really walk by faith. We were living in Arkansas. There were not any examples around us that I
In
could say, hey,
Arkansas. Wait a minute, you had Bill.
Bill Clinton, he went on to bigger things. But I mean, it wasn't an environment where we had a lot of people around us that we could just look to. And so that was another thing. Like, we had to invest and
Right.
go places and get around some other people
Mm-hmm.
that showed us, hey, this is possible, or you can do this. So
And,
all of that helps.
and that's a good nugget, because when you're around people, and I don't think people really realize this as much as they should, but whatever environment you're around is contagious. It's either going to
Absolutely.
infect you with some stuff you don't want to be infected with, or
Yeah.
it's going to either expand you. And so
Yes.
those are choices and decisions that we make. And when you are like, if you were while you were in Arkansas and you saw that there weren't people that really expanded you, it's your job and your right to be expanded and to go and find that
Yeah.
environment to keep you growing.
You have to find the environment to keep you growing. And, it's fine but especially if you're in the arts and you're not in a big metropolitan city,
Yes.
you've got to get around some more people that's normal and natural for them not to work a 9 to 5. And they're going to
Mm-hmm.
auditions, or they're, traveling in their
Right.
itinerant and things like that. We just didn't have a lot of that around
Mm-hmm.
us there. So yeah, like you said, you have to create an environment
And
to
it,
sustain you.
and it creates a normal for you. But if you're always around the same folk who haven't experienced what you envision, then it's not going to be their normal. So
That's right.
you gotta like go where your tribe is.
You got to go, and you don't know what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So you have
Facts.
to get to know something new.
Right.
Yes.
So for those of you just joining us, I'm here with Raquel Devine. We are talking about perfection. We're talking about just faith and fear and moving forward, all of those good things. So, just to give a brief synopsis, both married, happily married, working 9 to 5, decide to quit the job because her husband is going to pursue musicianship full time. She quits, doesn't know about booking or managing, and learns it, does it well. Now hubby travels across the globe, and they making way more than what you were making back then.
Absolutely.
But not only that, that's not the end of your story in terms of course, behind your husband supporting your family and all that, but there's so much more. So I want to know, how is it that you had spent your focus supporting your husband, learning the managerial tasks, all of that stuff. How did that transition into you cooking and repurposing furniture? And it's not just a person who just cooks, but cooks well. And that when you look at it, you just like, why couldn't I make it like that? How did you get to that point? Where does that fit in?
Well, the plan from the beginning was always to just get my husband to a certain level,
Mm-hmm.
a certain place. There was just always like this marker in place
Okay.
where, hey, we want to get this here. We want to get our family stabilized to this point, and our
Right.
kids. And so it was always in the plan for me to be able to segue into things that I wanted to do personally as
Mm.
well. So once again, when that time came around,
Mm-hmm.
I just began to open up and pursue some of those things. And, decorating was one of them.
But wait,
I
before you go
always,
there,
uh-huh,
how did you maintain your heart during this process? Because when things are inside you, sometimes they just like, ugh. And then
yeah,
and then it's just
yeah,
like, not yet, not yet, not yet. It's
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
oh.
Yes. And when things are like that, you have to release the valve and let some of it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have always done things on my own to a degree.
Okay.
So like even when I was home with the kids, like we would create hats. We'd go to the fabric store all the time. My kids will tell you they lived in a fabric store.
Uh-huh.
I would try and sew their little coats and dresses, and just as a creative outlet for me, we would make hats and send to St. Jude's Children's Hospital for
Mm-hmm.
kids with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I always did something, and I would advise any woman, especially if you are really, devoted to your kids, devoted to your family, you have to have something for yourself.
Wait a
You have to
minute.
be
Wait. Pause for the cause. Say that one more again. Say it
you got to have friends, you got to have a hobby or a business,
again. Mm-hmm.
whatever will fit the flow of your family. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
whatever it's obviously, if my husband's ministry is in this infant stage, there wasn't a good time for me to go and launch,
Right.
something else when we clearly had direction on what it is he was supposed to do.
Right.
But I have always done something for myself, some type
Mm-hmm.
of craft,
Right.
making flour. I mean, just all kind of things I could tell you about that I've
Mm-hmm.
always done something as a creative outlet for myself.
And I think what I hear, and I hope everybody gathers, and of course, you guys can comment and leave your thoughts and reaction in the comments. But what I gather is that some people, it's almost the same thing as the idea of perfectionism. Like, unless it's perfect, then I'm not going to do it at all. And I think sometimes people feel that unless I can do everything, then I do nothing. And I think
Yes,
what you said is just so awesome that you have to release the valve a little bit, that you can start somewhere. It may not be exactly where you see the overall picture, but that doesn't mean that you can't start somewhere. Like you can start with something little.
that's right.
Yeah. And it
You can,
sounds like you did that.
yes, start where you are, start with what you have. So I've always done that along the way.
Mm-hmm.
As our kids got more independent, I would just take on more and more and more,
Mm-hmm.
things that I wanted to do of my
Mm-hmm.
own. And also, I never felt like I was diminished by helping my husband. I didn't feel like I was less of a woman, or he was forcing me to do anything, or he was holding me back.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt that from him. Anything I wanted to do, he's always supported it.
Isn't that a
So
great
it wasn't,
feeling? Oh.
yeah, it wasn't something that was ever grievous to me
Mm-hmm.
or where I just felt trapped. And anytime that any frustration set in, I would just look at, hey, are you prioritizing yourself? Are you making sure that you're taking care of you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you making sure that you're doing things that are fun to
And
you,
bring you
that
joy.
don't
Right.
involve your kids or your husband, just things that you like to do?
But I
So,
think that's something as women struggle with this idea of perfectionism, and they struggle with it to the degree that it's everything else is perfect except them investing in themselves. And
yes,
I think that creates the frustration when you don't prioritize and do the self-care that you need, so
absolutely.
that you aren't just your marriage, you aren't just your children, but you are
Absolutely.
actually a person separate from these parts.
Come on. Because, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, but I'm also a woman. And whenever I neglect that woman role, I get
Mm-hmm.
frustrated,
Oh
you
yes.
know, and I have to check myself along the way. I mean, sometimes, I can be so invested in what my kids are doing, what my husband is
Mm-hmm.
doing. I can just get lost in, especially if they have like special projects or certain things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I have to check myself with that along the way,
Mm-hmm.
because it is very important that I take care of the woman part of me. And that's not anybody else's responsibility.
Say it one more again.
It's not anybody else's
Wait a
responsibility.
minute. It's not your husband's. It's not your
Oh, no, no, no. My
children's.
husband, he loves me, but I can probably count on one hand the times where he's like, "Hey, do you think you should go get a massage?" He's not thinking about that,
Right.
And your kids, they're attached to their need of you, and not your care. So your self-care is up to you.
It is.
It is up to you. So you just
Mm-hmm.
have to keep those checks and balances in place
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that you take care of that.
And to not be afraid to actually say when you need your space or your time or you need to release the valve a little bit, like,
Come
hey,
on.
I love all y'all, but
Yes.
I just want to read a book.
I just want to read a book in peace. When
Exactly.
my girls were really small, I worked right down the street from their school, like literally a block.
Uh-huh.
So it's like I got off work, I got them in the car, and they were talk, 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 talk all the way home. So I actually heard it was Sarita Jakes say she talked about just creating some quiet time.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a little pact with these little girls. I was like, listen, when we get home, I'm going to fix your snack. I need you to sit at the table and eat it
Mm-hmm.
and do not bother me for, it might have been like 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Right.
Just take care, unless it's death. Don't knock on my door.
Right. Let's
But I would just
go.
use that to just kind of change hats, decompress from the day. And, they were young. I mean, that's about all they could give me.
Right.
I can't slip away for a whole hour,
I wish.
but creating that routine. And it's so healthy to teach that to your girls too.
Right. That's
Like my girls love that I take care of myself.
mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
and by you taking care of yourself, you're showing them that it's important for them to take care of themselves.
absolutely. And it's important to have boundaries, even with your kids.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So
Yeah.
now you have reached a space where the seeds that you sowed as far as your husband's business have sprouted and grown all over the place. And so now you're at the space where you are venturing out on your own. So what is it that you're doing?
Okay, so I do cooking classes. I started what's called a Fabulous Girls Cooking Club
Mm-hmm.
for young girls ages 7 through 13.
Mm-hmm.
I also started, I do cooking classes for women. I travel and do those. I've also been afforded opportunities to do regular cooking segments on Good Morning Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I have a cookbook, and I've created some other product lines over time, like aprons and mugs and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I have a candle line. My brand is called Fabulous in the Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So I
As you
do
can see,
videos.
she's
I have a
fabulous
YouTube
right now.
channel. Huh?
I said you're fabulous right now.
Thank you. I created a YouTube channel with videos to help people there. I also cook on my social media, especially my Instagram. I do that almost daily.
Mm-hmm.
So I just do a lot of different outlets to help people get out of the drive-through and into the kitchen, or
Mm-hmm.
just to build kitchen confidence and things like that.
So in looking in hindsight, did you see all of this right now?
No, I did not. I did not. I have always loved creativity.
Mm-hmm.
I went to college and I started out majoring in computer science engineering.
Wow.
And I immediately switched after my first year. I was like, I hate this. I can't go to work like this every
Mm-hmm.
day. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a job. I don't care how much it pays.
Right.
I can't do this. So I changed my major to fashion, and I loved college after that. I
Okay.
love study. So I always knew I wanted to be in the creative vein. That is just where my giftings are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've always stayed in that vein. Like when I was helping my husband, we had kids. I took a decorating course,
Mm-hmm.
so I always just fed that
So
passion.
you stayed investing in yourself even as you were sowing into something else.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a nugget because
Yeah.
people, I don't know if people misinterpret seasons or it's because we're in like a microwave society that we think that, stuff is supposed to be jumping, 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 jumping,
Yes.
that we
Yes.
don't think about as we're waiting to arrive, per se, that there could be things that we could still be investing in ourselves and
Yes,
not taking the opportunity to do that. So you
absolutely.
investing in yourself and still feeding that creativity and demonstrating while you are serving your husband is just awesome sauce.
Thank you.
Just awesome sauce.
Yeah.
And then in the midst of that, so all that is going on, and you're creating memories with your family,
Yes.
creating lessons for them. Like, yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
just.
family is everything to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, last night I went to hear Michelle Obama speak. You may or may not know that,
Uh-huh.
but she talked about the mom in chief role and how, that was her first priority was her kids. And some people didn't like her saying that. They felt
Mm-hmm.
like it was a setback for women or a step back for women. But as you see, she did all other kind of things
Mm-hmm.
besides her kids. She just prioritized her family. And
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely the kind of person I am.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely invest a lot of time and energy into my family, and I always have. And it is very rewarding for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love who my children are becoming. They are not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
they've had their missteps along the way,
Wait,
but
you didn't have any perfect children?
if you know how to have perfect children, please tell me.
I think if we knew the ingredients to that, we would be just trillionaires.
Oh my
Everybody would buy
God,
into it.
save you so many tears and prayers
Yes.
and pulling your hair out.
Yes, I would love that.
Yes, yes. But yeah, family and raising them has always been my main priority.
So family, wife, having your own dreams, your own visions,
Yes,
self-care, all of those things.
yes.
And so where are we going next? What's next?
Well, I have some exciting things coming up. Um, I will be releasing a new cookbook next year.
Yes! Which I
Yes.
have heard. Let me tell you something. Everybody thinks that I'm a good cook. And you know
You
why?
are.
Because I know how to follow instructions. I know how to follow instructions. I do them well. And everybody loves that spicy, what is that, sweet and spicy salmon? Everybody
Yeah.
always wants me to make that. And I'm like, but
Yay.
salmon is expensive.
Yes. Yes.
But everyone, I mean, I use that book. I probably need to buy another one because it's starting to unravel. But I use it, the pink, I think it's a lemonade spritzer in there.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh no, I works the book. I works
All
the book.
right. All
Yes.
right.
So in case
And
you,
then
oh,
you
go
and your
ahead.
husband have taken a lot of private cooking lessons with me.
Yes, I
Several.
have. So my thing is, if I find something that I really love, and I love supporting other entrepreneurs, I really like. It makes my heart happy. And
Yes.
if I really love you, then I'm going to try to tell everybody and their grandmother about you because that's just
Yes.
the type of person I am. Or I'm going to try to create a group of people so that we can all go because I just feel like that's just my thing. I just love
Yes.
doing that. So yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And so she does private. She did private cooking parties and date parties. It was so good,
We had so much fun.
so much fun. And so,
Hmm.
where can people find your books?
Okay, so my book.
Boom.
So I'm at fabulousinthekitchen.com.
Mm-hmm.
The letter N, thekitchen.com. And
Right.
everything is there. All my social media handles, all the products I sell, recipes, all that good stuff is there.
Yes. So, and we're going to post the link as well, so you can have it.
Okay.
Now, so you started from point A to point B. Looking back, you didn't see that this was going to be the outcome.
Right.
Now, what would have happened if you didn't start? Like if you didn't have all the A to Z points and you didn't start with whatever you had, what do you think would have happened?
Oh
How
my
would the
God.
world have been impacted from the lack of stuff that you have produced?
Yes, I know. And that to me, that's the scariest part is that perhaps people would not have been impacted, just the people that you would not have touched.
Mm-hmm.
Um, especially my little girls cooking class, like they bless me so much
Mm-hmm.
because they're so cute and just so sweet. And I just love the thought of helping them at such an early age.
Right.
And that seed just growing and growing and growing. And, I just believe that any gifts that we have, they should be used to not only bless us, but to benefit other people.
For sure. For sure.
Yes.
And I think that your story alone, you and Merlan's story alone, it's just a seed of what is possible when you act on what God says, and also when you act on faith in using what you already have.
Already have. Oh my gosh, I'm like the master of that. Okay.
Right.
I use what I already have all the time. I use what I already have to create what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
the thing is, we have it. It's just that a lot of people in their mind, when they don't have this specific outcome or it's not happening immediately, then it's like I'm just not. I'm just forget it. I'll
That's
wait.
right. And I think it is a great gift. And it is one gift that I constantly pray for. And that's to be able to see what's around me already.
Oh, girl.
That is like my prayer. Like, I want, Lord, open my eyes so I can see what you've already placed around me that can help me get to the next place
That's it
or the
right
next
there.
thing. Yeah, because you can have, if you can have resources and people and connections and information you need around you, but if you can't see it,
Right.
it can't benefit you.
At all. I remember
Yes.
my mother's husband, my stepfather. Of course, I was younger, and I didn't know all the accolades that he had accumulated. And I didn't find out until like reading his obituary. And
Wow.
I was like, he had a master's in business. He was like a colonel in the army and all this stuff. And I was like, untapped resources. Like there are questions, stuff that I could have gained, and he was right there. You know
Wow.
what I mean? And so
Yeah.
now when I look at people and when I'm in circles, I'm just like, well, what do you bring? What's your gift to the world? Like what's
Yes.
your like? I'm really trying to discover and figure that out because I don't want it to be another opportunity where I'm in a room with someone who has a particular gift or an experience that could really benefit me or we could benefit one another. So,
That's right. And that's why it's also so important not to try and be other people. Like
mm,
like your gift and what God gave you, like we need that. You
right,
know, we need that. We don't need a clone of someone else.
right,
Like, we can be inspired by other people and things like that. I certainly am.
right,
But at the end of the day, I want to be me,
right,
and I want to use my unique set of gifts and talents. That's what I want to bring to the world. And I want to know what yours are, and I want to
right,
appreciate yours.
right.
So to me, that's what makes a beautiful puzzle is when all these different pieces come together with their unique experiences and gifts and talents.
Yes. And when you know that you are meant to be unique, like
Yes,
there's a reason why there's only one of
that's
you.
right.
Like,
That's right.
get with it.
Yes, on your spot.
Yes. So, do you have something prepared for us?
I wanted to talk about this is like a really, really simple recipe.
Ooh,
And
recipe, guys.
I made it at a cooking party. And I taught a lot of things at a cooking party, at this
Mm-hmm.
particular cooking party, but this is the one thing that everyone walked away with
Okay.
on how to make this. And since it's holiday season, I thought it would be absolutely perfect to share this with
Yay!
you.
Yeah, I didn't know y'all was
So,
gonna get this.
yes. So we're actually going to make fresh cranberry sauce.
Okay.
And we're starting with these cranberries right here.
Mm-hmm.
You get these from the grocery store. Now, they're only there during seasonal times. So the good news is you can buy them and freeze them
Okay.
if you want to make it at a later time. But they're very inexpensive. You just rinse them. And so I have my pot here,
Okay.
and I'll just pour my cranberries in the pot.
Right.
And then I'm just going to add brown sugar.
Brown sugar. Okay.
Yes. You can do white sugar too, but brown sugar gives it a little more oomph. I have a little bit of orange juice. This is optional, but it gives it a nice little zing.
I'm writing my notes down, guys.
Yes. Then I have some ginger here.
Okay,
This is
ginger.
powdered ginger, but you can use fresh.
Okay.
So we have this pretty pot of cranberries, sugar, orange juice, and a little ginger.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to add some water to this.
Okay. How much water is that? Like a cup full?
So this is 2 cups of water.
Okay, 2 cups.
Mm-hmm. And see this little soupy kind of thing here?
Right.
So all I'm going to do is boil that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to boil it on high, and then I'll turn it to medium.
Uh-huh.
And what you want all the majority of your cranberries to pop open and burst open. And it's just going to make this very beautiful sauce. You take it off the eye and it'll cool and gel, and then you have fresh cranberry sauce. And let me tell you, you will never ever eat that jelly crap out of a can.
Never again?
Never.
I gotta try it because cranberry sauce has always been, like, my Aunt Ruth makes the best cranberry sauce, but it's always scary to me. Like, I don't know if it's the little red things or what, but it's like, I don't know what to do with these.
It's so easy. And so what I'll be doing, Takia, is I will have this on my blog later this week.
Okay.
And on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
So, yes, I'll put I'll actually walk you through it with all the measurements and everything.
Good. So that means you have to follow her and go to her website,
fabulousinthekitchen.com.
inthekitchen.com. So we have 2 more questions to ask that we ask everyone. And one is, what is something that people thought was weird about you, but you turned it into a strength?
I turned it into a strength?
Yes.
Oh, Lordy. What is something people thought that was weird about me? I don't know. I don't know what people may think is weird about me that I turned into a strength. I will say this, when I left my job to be a stay-at-home mom, people probably thought that was pretty weird. I'm sure they did. And I only had one other friend that was doing that at the time. Like, so I know that was kind of like, what in the world are you doing?
Right. Because you had gone to college and all of that.
Yeah. And I had a degree, a job, the whole thing. And I did get pushed back, from people, like, because they feel like you're not using your life or you're not using your degree. But the way I turned that into a strength is that a lot of those same people come to me and will say things like, how do you get your kids like that? Or, oh, your family is such a blessing to me.
Right.
Or, they didn't see it back then. Back then I looked weird. And, if you're walking by faith, you definitely have to know that decisions you make are just going to look weird to other people.
Right.
But, if God is in it, it will turn into a strength for you.
Right. So when you quit your job during that time, and I think during that time period was the period where women were just like, I'm not meant to be a stay-at-home.
Yes.
Like, it was like more militant, like we could go to college, that people wanted to pursue things. So you doing the opposite during that period where it was more vigor for you to do the other thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you looked a little weird. Pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then you turned it around and flipped it. You have, 3 children, son in college, 2 beautiful women who are just living their lives.
Yes. They are blessings.
That is awesome. And so how do you inspire people?
Well, I try to inspire people through my Facebook post. And especially in this climate that we live in, there are a lot of things that we can all get on the computer and talk about.
Well,
they're real things. Some of them are necessary things, but I've just set myself to be a bright spot
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook, you know. And when you come to my page, it is going to be light. It is going to be funny. It is going to be inspiring. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
be honest
Mm-hmm.
too. But that's, I feel like that's the energy that I need to put out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I try and put out. Doesn't mean I don't have challenges. Doesn't mean that things don't infuriate me that I see on TV or on the news or whatever. And, you know, other people may have a calling to discuss those things or whatever. But I just decided I just wanted to be a bright spot. I want to inspire people. I want people to become, more committed mothers,
Mm-hmm.
supportive, loving, committed wives in
Mm-hmm.
any way that I can, to use their gifts, their talents, their abilities,
Mm-hmm.
things that are in them. Hopefully I help creative people want to sharpen their creative gifts. And hopefully I help women that are wanting to start out in business or
Mm-hmm.
have hobbies or sell things. And so that's how I try and inspire people. I try and use my life to inspire people.
And I think you do an awesome job doing that. I know I
Yeah.
am certainly inspired. I
Glory to
actually,
God.
I am waiting for you guys to post your pajama pictures.
Yes.
It's like little stuff like that when, everything else is going on. You are definitely a bright spot.
Thank
And I think that you committing yourself to be that bright spot, I know that it's infectious and I know that it's contagious. And I know that when people see the things that you do and all that you do, that they're inspired. That's the reason why I wanted to have you on here, to
thank you.
inspire, to empower, and to ignite people to, be the best that they can be.
Thank you.
And you do it all and you do it well.
Thank you
So
so much.
I would like everybody to, it is the holiday season. You have mugs. Do you still have aprons?
I may have a few aprons down there, but my newest thing is my kitchen candle collection.
Oh,
And it has the wooden wick in it, and they are super amazingly fragrant.
yes.
Like you will smell it when you open your package up. So I have citrus and cilantro, and then a cilantro lime because I wanted food based flavors
Got
or
it.
scents.
Got it.
And I mean, this smells absolutely amazing. I've gotten great feedback from people that have bought them. So
Yes.
I would love for them to visit and grab a candle or a cookbook.
Yes. So if you guys, Small Business Saturday was this past Saturday, but I think small business is every day. So
Yes.
definitely support your entrepreneurs, support people who are living their dreams. And also, we talked about self care earlier, and y'all know how I feel about candles and having that moment to yourself. So you paired that
Yes.
candle with a book. There you have
Yes.
it. Put your little
Yes.
bath bomb, boom, and then you're good to go. So
Yes.
feel free to check her out. I'm going to post a link of her website so that you can just automatically go and get it. I just read this book. It's called The Happiness Advantage. And it says that if you want people to do things, or if you want to increase your chances of doing things, then you have to make it less than 20 seconds.
Wow.
So, like for example, if like I journal in the morning, and if you want
Hmm.
to increase your journaling, have your journal right by your nightstand. So as soon as you get
Yes.
out, because if it's outside in the car, you're probably gonna miss that morning of journaling.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's why we're gonna post that link. So you don't even have to worry about it. You don't have to search it in less than 20 seconds. You can just click, and then you can
Yes.
send gifts to other people. You can just surprise somebody with a candle and be like, "Hey, I'm
Absolutely.
thinking about you because you're a light." You see how I did that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yes, I want to thank you for coming on. You have been a pleasure. Continue to be the bright spot because people are watching. I know I am. I'm following. I'm taking notes. I'm like, how can I make my decor pop like that? So yes, I'm going to post the link. Everybody, stay tuned. Follow Raquel Devine. Also, her husband, Merlon Devine, follow him
Yes.
too, because you playing that CD with the fireplace going, that would be a nice treat right around this season. So, thank
Thank
you guys for tuning in. Welcome, welcome, and Make sure you share this with your friends and your family. Hey, Jean. Jean said, great show. Yay, thank you.
Thank you.
Tawanda Hall, she says, yes, you are Raquel Smith Devine. Thanks you. The fan club is showing up and showing out. I see you. I see you. I see you.
I love those ladies.
Exactly. They're awesome sauce, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes. And they support one another. I love it. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. So share this with your friends. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the beautiful Weirdo Life, learning instruction from everyday people, having everyday experiences. You've tuned in with me and Raquel Devine. Follow her, and I will see you guys next Monday, same time, same place. Oh, your hubby just said, awesome show, ladies.
Thank you,
Awesome show.
honey.
Thank you, hubby. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Takia. I really appreciate you all.
Thank you. And I'm pretty sure I will see you soon. I've already been trying to think of some more ideas to just have you so we can cook again, because it's just so much fun.
You know, we'll make it happen.
You know it. You know, because I was sending a text like, can you make this happen?
Yes.
I know you can do it.
Yes.
All right. I'll see you and have a great night. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.